Tony Blair's favourite businessman, Lord Haskins, has attacked the government for strangling British industry with red tape.
But Chris Haskins is the one businessman who has consistently, senior businessman who was there long before their prawn cocktail offensive. I mean, he is the one
who created a dog's dinner with new employment laws. The government will have to go back and have another look. We haven't heard the end of this. It's all a bit of a dog's dinner at the end of the day.
It's pretty
well, it's true.
Next stop, the White House.
Well, in your meeting with Mr. Hague, did you get the impression that one day he'll be as great a British Prime Minister as Margaret Thatcher?
I did. In fact, I did.
And are you looking forward?
Maybe as great as Winston Churchill, for that matter. Got the same hairline. No, it's
Margaret Thatcher or Winston Churchill?
Winston Churchill.
In the health service, education, so on and so forth. In the commentaries, we do get quite a bit of criticism. I think Boris Johnson's piece in the Telegraph, it seems to me the only piece really that's understood what we're about. Boris says the electorate conceives of the Tory party as a bunch of pinstriped, booper-backed bastards who have a secret plan in some central office safe to close down the hospitals and turn the remaining school playgrounds into Asda car parks.
Now you're talking.
And I think Boris is really the only one of the commentators who understood that what Peter and William were saying last night. The Guardian, not for the first time in recent weeks, is quite sympathetic, describing Peter as the high priest of the free market.
Brought in from the Financial Times. He was the young Financial Times Journalist of the Year. He's still under 30. He was brought in to head up our economic expertise. With him, Ed Miliband, who's even younger, who works on the speech writing alongside him and does quite a lot of the political advice and strategy.
The most important thing with that is we're actually on the train. Rather surprising, to be honest. The taxi driver said that he wouldn't have done it for Kenneth Clarke, but given that Gordon was his second favourite politician after Tony Benn, he managed to drive faster than normal. Tony Benn. We chose not to point out to him that Tony Benn and Gordon Brown had rather different views on the kind of speech he would give to the CBI. We just shrugged and hoped he accelerated, and he made it. So it's fine. The only thing is we're a bit worried that we haven't brought the file with the jokes in.
So we might come back.
So we may have to make.
There are no jokes.
They are, yeah. We may have to make some jokes up on the way.
It's Armistice Day, and appropriately, Gordon Brown is going to meet what for old Labour would have been the enemy. He's the first Labour Shadow Chancellor ever to address the CBI annual conference.
Business lunch I addressed in the States.
Oh, yeah?
Where I was a British politician from the Labour Party. And the other chap who was speaking with me was introduced simply as a man who'd made $1 million from oil in Texas. And he stood up and he said, Mr. Chairman, he said, first of all, it wasn't Texas, it was Oklahoma. He then said, secondly, it wasn't oil, it was coal. He then said, thirdly, Mr. Chairman, it wasn't $1 million, it was $500,000. And then he said, fourthly, it wasn't me, it was my brother. And then he said, fifthly, he didn't make it, he lost it.
The bizarre bit is they always laugh at my brother.
Sit there to the end.
Gordon's going to have to make a speech to a large group of business people who will judge him, but a speech which will be transmitted around the world, certainly seen on the 6 and 9 o'clock news as tonight. And he's as nervous in terms of making sure that the speech goes well as he is nervous to make sure there are no slips. He's also nervous because he's going to tell 3 jokes, and if they don't laugh, the speech will die.
And then he said, fourthly, it wasn't me, it was my brother. And then added fifthly, and he didn't make it, he lost it.
You know, let's be honest, in the 1992 election, we weren't trusted on tax, we weren't trusted on spending, we weren't seen as a party which could take the long-term view. We were a quick-fix, short-term party. So what we're wanting to do is tell these people, we aren't a penal taxing party, we can make tough choices on spending, we are about the long term.
if we don't know what they're doing on the other allowances and all that stuff?
If it's the case that the Tories can use today and tomorrow to relaunch the Conservative Party as a party which they can be trusted on tax from the economy, then that will cause us problems. Therefore, our job is to make sure that they don't get away with that. It's going to be over £2,000.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, because that's on a poster tomorrow morning. So if that was wrong, we'd be in trouble. Pre-budget or
First thing is the lasting health of the British economy.
For the news this evening, the most important thing is what Tony says in the chamber once Clark's made his speech. So what we've got to do is get any new information we can into Tony as quickly as possible so that he can do a response which is on the ball. But the important thing from our point of view is we have a calculation about how much tax people have paid since '92. And what we want to do is use that as a headline number, £2,000 extra taxes since '92. If anything happens in the Chancellor's speech which changes that, makes it higher or makes it lower, that's the number we want to get in and do it as quick as possible. That's what Tony will say. That's what Gordon will say in the studios. First of his series of economic speeches, Chancellor Gordon Brown will show how Labour will implement its save-to-spend approach by announcing a 2-year clampdown on public spending.
Well, I guess this is Gordon's major economic speech before the election, and so obviously we've been working on this for some time now. I mean, obviously, in many ways it's summing up a lot of what Gordon has been doing over the last 4 years and sort of bringing that to fruition.
Anyway, look, I'm not going to spend all afternoon arguing with you, but if you wrote anything other than we will be tough on public spending, I'm going to come and beat you up.